What up, man, and welcome to this week's edition of Are We Ready War Podcast, where we're going to continue to talk about Don't Bite the Hand, Part 2.
Part 2.
Part deuces, baby. Part deuces.
Yeah.
Deuces. Well, I think, we definitely had to do a part 2 of this because there was just so much content that we wanted to go over and so many things that we wanted to touch on. And obviously we didn't have enough time last week, but I think we hit on some really key components of, some things that are going on that are indicative in the culture that we have today. With number one was being respect, and the other one was being gratitude, being grateful.
Yep. Yeah, and before we get started, I just wanted to give a shout out to some new countries. The podcast is growing. Nice. We're new, but we'd like to welcome Sweden.
Sweden!
All right. We got some listeners in Sweden. We'd like to welcome Belgium.
Nice.
And our brothers and sisters in France.
Oui.
Part 2, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah,
Appreciate
like
y'all.
that.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining in. And follow us on YouTube. Hit the like, subscribe, Instagram.
And rock and roll. We're on Twitter. We're also on Facebook.
We're on Spotify, Mozilla, Amazon Music.
What? Hit us
Facebook,
up. Hit us
YouTube.
up.
We're on multiple platforms, so just please share it with your friends. We'd appreciate that. And as we said last week, and we'll continue to kind of push this out there, is that this is just a time that we come together and we have conversation. We create dialogue to talk about the things that are going on in our culture today and the things that we face, primarily as men, but we also want to be a safe place for people to come and listen to both sides of the spectrum from a male and female perspective. But, this week we want to continue to dive into what we touched on last week, where we did talk about respect, and we also talked about gratitude, and those some key components when it comes to making sure you don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Right. Yeah. I wanted to throw one more thing in there too. Like you were talking about how it's for men and, for all to listen, because we as men know that our actions or lack thereof affect women.
Oh, absolutely.
Wives, ex-wives, whoever it is.
Well, this ain't the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
No.
You know what I'm saying? We don't hate women. We love women.
We love them women.
We love the women.
We love our women. Let's just keep it on the real there. But, we do have a profound respect and love for women. But we also want to make sure, too, that we help women to understand the perspective,
right,
from a male perspective, I should say.
Right.
So that when we talk about certain topics, we do it from a male's perspective. But we also understand that there's a lot of single moms out there that are raising young boys that hopefully they're going to turn into great young men.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So we left off last week with gratitude. Gratitude's where we left off. And I feel a big part of gratitude, or lack thereof, leads to self-entitlement.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a big problem that we're facing, with the generations coming up, is the lack of gratitude leads them to be or feel entitled to everything.
Well, we touched on it last week, and I'll just say it again. When you make it all about somebody else, it's all about them.
Yeah.
So they do feel entitled because you've taught them that.
Yep.
You teaching little Johnny, and I say Johnny because my name is John, You can call me JD Real, but...
JD Reels.
JD Reels, yeah. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is that, when we teach certain behavior to our kids.
Yeah.
And when little Johnny thinks it's all about little Johnny because you make it about little Johnny, well, guess what? He starts to think, hey, wait a second, this is about me here.
Yeah.
I don't care about anybody else. I'm going to get what I want, when I want it, and how I want it. And I expect it to be there because that's your job, your duty, your responsibility to give me what I want.
Yeah. Another really big part or problem with self-entitlement is that it's a dream killer, man. It kills the desire for more, for better. It kills the desire of dreams and success. It's when you think everything's owed to you, you don't have that drive to go out and try to accomplish it or get it, the success or even put in the work that is required to succeed.
Well, that's what's causing an epidemic in our culture today. We have a lot of young people that don't have any desire or any passion to do anything. They look for the easy way out.
Yeah.
What's going to take me the least amount of work where I can make the most amount of money? We went from a culture where in a country where people were respected and honored by working with their hands, right?
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way, we turned that around and told the next generation coming up behind them, saying, be smarter than me, don't work with your hands, get an office job, right? So then it was the big push to go to college and get, you know, you're going to get out of school, make a 6-figure salary, you're going to dress nice, work in an office. Well, I got news for you. People got to fix cars, people got to paint, people got to pour concrete, I mean, there's things that got to be done that take, you know, physical labor and skill, craftsmanship. I mean, that's something that we've lost sight of in our country. I mean, people used to make things in this country with their hands and do it with honor and with dignity and with, you know, with pride. And now it's like, you buy something today and they tell you flat out, don't fix it, just throw it out.
Yeah. Well, the problem is the culture nowadays is they look down on skilled trade. So if you're doing skilled trade, plumber, painter, welder, stuff like that, they look down on you like you're an idiot. Like you don't have.
Yeah, because in their mind, you're stupid for working with your hands.
Yeah, you're not an intellectual by any means. So what is it? Einstein says, you know, it's something about if you judge a fish by the way it climbs a tree, of course it's stupid or something, you know, something like that.
Then that's some damn redneckanisms. Yeah. I ain't never heard of that one.
Maybe that was redneck.
What the hell? That looked like Bubba and Leroy. Was you that one? Bubba and Leroy that came up with that one? Their Heimlich maneuver.
It might have been Uncle Bubba. But the whole thing is you know, you're going to look down on these tradespeople and. You know, you're sitting in your office, you come home, your toilet don't work. What are you going to do?
Call somebody who knows how to fix it.
Right, exactly. So they're not any more unintelligent than you are. They're just trained and skilled in a different area.
Who's the smart one now? How much does it cost you to have a plumber come out to the house?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
How much is it going to cost you for a carpenter? I mean, how much is it going to cost you for a mechanic? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right.
These people, you know, some of these mechanics are making almost $100 an hour.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so who's the dummy now?
Right, exactly.
You know, and you know, supply and demand is the other thing. I mean, if we got so many people ready to be managers, wear ties and dresses, and you know, work in offices, you know, now you're going to oversaturation of those folks in the marketplace. You know, the people that they're going to pay you more money to do the jobs that nobody wants to do, which is fix cars and you know, build things.
Well, already seeing that in the marketplace because they can't get anybody to work. Arby's and a lot of the fast food places.
Yeah. And then they're paying bonuses,
sign-on bonuses to work there.
Well, that all goes back to that self-entitlement. These kids think that I'm above flipping a burger. I'm above, you know, pulling the fry bin out. I'm above sweeping up the restaurant area.
And you know what's crazy is that they're being raised by parents that did whatever it took to take care of their kids.
Right.
And they've ingrained in these kids that, and it's the same thing with the school system. I mean, I'm not just going to blame all the parents, but I mean, if you're not talking to your kid, it's your fault anyway. They've ingrained in their kids, you know, go out there and do this. So you don't have to do this because you're above this. You're better than me. Don't do the things I'm doing. Be better than me. You know.
Right.
The other thing too, I think about too, that you know, kind of hits at home is, you know, we've mentioned this on the podcast too, and this is a little shout out to you single moms out there. Quit with the damn overcompensation.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to overcompensate for the fact that a man is not there doing what he's supposed to be doing. Your job is to be that child's mother. You're not there to be their father.
Yep.
And you can only do and be what you've been created to be, and that's a mom. And what happens is we get a lot of the ladies out there, and I'm not here to piss anybody off, but if it does, oh well, that want to baby these boys and overcompensate because of the lack thereof of the father, and they feel like they've got to do things to make them feel special or, you know, appreciated or loved or whatever, or they go out of their way to spoil their asses, and then they get these kids that are self-entitled that they can't discipline, they can't get them in check. You know, the next thing you know, they're running the house, they're you know, being overbearing because, you know, a little boy sooner or later is going to turn into a young man.
Yep.
And when you get an entitled young man living in your house that's big, strong, and aggressive, that's not a good combination.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of you ladies out there, you think you're doing your boys a favor, and you're not. You're hurting them.
Yeah, and now what the men need to do is the men need to step up. Now, you guys know when there's a single mom, everybody, you know, it's not something that's hidden. So when you see these boys that are, you know, being raised by a single mom and they're not acting right, you see what's happening there. step in and help out. I mean, I had a situation where I knew a single mom, and she was, telling me about what was going on with her son, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll pray for you. I'll try to help you out. And after about a week or two of that, I realized, hey, dummy, don't just pray about it. Do something about it. Step in. Be a man that he can look up to. Be a man that he wants to emulate.
Well, the other thing too, I'm going to say this. I'm on a roll tonight. I'm going to get some hate mail from the ladies. Ladies, listen. If you want a man to do that, get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
Allow him the ability to do that. You can't be coming to your boy's rescue every 5 minutes when he's being disciplined or corrected by a man, and reminding them that it's not their son or they're not their father or whatever, because you're going to have hell on your hands. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, yeah.
And no man's going to put up with that. You can't have one without the other. And what we have is like, and I see it a lot. These women that have kids, they meet a man that wants to step in and be the dad, and he can be the dad as long as he's buying them things and loving and spending time with them. But the first damn time that he's going to discipline that ass or put him in check, she wants to jump in between him like Mama Bear and be like, oh, you can't do that with my kid. Well, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
So, I'm not saying that you should allow a man to abuse your child or anything like that.
No.
That's not what I'm saying. But if your son or your daughter needs to be corrected, they need that masculine presence in their life to correct them. You need to be willing to step back and allow that man to step up and do those things.
Right.
And the problem is we have a problem with control in our culture, and people don't want to relinquish power and control. And we go, well, I'm not going to let them treat my kid like that or talk to my kid like that. Well, guess what? You're going to be alone. You're going to be raising your kid by yourself. And in most cases, you're going to have a disrespectful young man by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Because you've taught him inevitably that he can do what he wants when he wants, and there's no repercussions for what he does.
Well, not just that, but a woman cannot validate a young man. Only a man can validate a man. And that's going to piss women off too, because the whole women's lib and everybody's equal and all that good stuff. But that is true to form, that a woman cannot validate a man. You can tell your young son everything. He's done a great job. He did this. He did that. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of that. He's still not going to feel validated. We're men. We know this.
So, it's innate. We want to get it from a man. We don't.
Exactly. That's it. Exactly.
And that's why you see a lot of times these kids, mama tries to be their friend and tries to do all these things. And at the end of the day, they love mama, but they respect daddy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to be an ass, but it's true. I see it a lot of times where, and then what happens is that when it really comes down to the nuts and bolts of what matters, they're not going to mama anymore. They're going to dad because they know dad's going to shoot straight and tell them what's up.
Yeah.
And, you got to understand that there's a certain role that a man plays in that the family dynamic.
Yeah.
And I don't care what the hell the government or what feminism or whatever the rest of the world is bullshit they're trying to pitch. A woman cannot be a father.
No.
Just like a father can never be a mother.
Well, they've done studies too that, for households with a mother and a father, they've done studies that where, say, one of the children gets hurt. If they physically get hurt, their first action is to call for dad. If they get hurt emotionally, their first actions is to call for mom. So if, one of the siblings insults the other siblings, hurts her feeling, they're going to go run into mom. If one of them punches the other sibling, they're going to go run to dad. And like you said, men and women just they have different roles, period. And it's a wonderful thing. It doesn't make one less than the other.
They're both very valuable.
They're both
That's why
needed.
it's called the family dynamic.
They're
Family is more than one. It's plural.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like it was constructed that way.
Yeah. But that's where we're at, though. I mean, we have 50% of young men being raised by women, and they're trying like hell. And I got the utmost respect. I was raised by a single parent. My mom raised us, but she was not my father.
Right.
And by no means did she ever fill the masculine role in my life.
Right.
I found that in another male. But that's a lot of times, but some guys don't have that luxury. They don't have another guy that steps up in their life. But
right.
The other thing too is my mother knew enough that that role model in my life, if he got in my ass, she minded her own business. She didn't tell him or come to my defense. She's like, hey, you heard what he said, do it,
Yeah. And that's kind of part of knowing your place. As men, we need to know our place and our role. And as women, they need to know a woman needs to know her place and her role. And that it always works best when there's one of each.
Well, it's real simple. You don't deserve shit, you earn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you earn it. You got to earn what you get.
Yeah.
And if you don't earn it, you don't respect it. You're not grateful for it. And you sure in hell, don't get to feel like if you haven't suffered a little bit to get something, it's got no value.
Yeah.
If you haven't worked hard for it, it's got no value. Who cares? I'll just get another one. My mom and my daddy will buy me another one.
Oh, yeah. Well, that even plays out in sports. You got to earn that position.
And also, going back to knowing your place, like knowing your role, I mean, you need to make sure, too, that you and your children understand what their place is. They're not the parent.
Right.
They're not your friends. They're not your equals.
Nope.
And we live in a culture today where we want to be friends. Let's be friends. And I've told my kids before, I said, look, I love you. Ain't nobody on this planet, with the exception of your mother and I, loves you more than we do.
Right.
Outside of God. I said, but I make no mistake about it. I am not your friend. I'm your father. And I'm going to continue to be your father until you're self-reliant, self-sufficient, and out doing your own thing, and you become a husband or a wife or a father or a mother or whatever. At that point in time, we can be the best of friends.
Right.
But all you living under my roof, I'm your father.
Well, not just that, but when it comes to don't bite the hand that feeds you and knowing your place, know your place at work. Know your position. Know your responsibilities.
Well, here's one right there that's going. I'm going to hit a little nerve here.
Uh-oh.
Well, this one's for you old boys living in the basement.
Uh-oh.
You better start knowing your place.
Tangent time.
I mean, you
there
think
you go.
you're going to lay up under your parents' roof.
You one up in my
You
work.
think you're a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell you what to do. You're an adult. Well, you know what? Get up off your ass and make your own way. If you want to be an adult and you want to have your own say, there's a saying in my house, you don't pay, you have no say.
Yeah. That's
So don't talk to me about what you think you are or what you deserve or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you dudes, I'm going to tell you right now, you guys that are living with your mamas and you got mommy paying for everything and you think you can treat her like shit and boss her around and, and talk down to her and all this other shit and she's supposed to be there to cater to you, grow up.
Yeah.
She don't owe you anything.
Nope.
And you mothers that are listening to this, listen to me very carefully. You do not owe them shit. Do not allow your sons to mistreat you. Because if they mistreat you, they're going to mistreat other women.
Yeah.
If a dude disrespects his mama, he going to disrespect his wife.
Yeah.
That's just given.
Oh, yeah.
Because if he can't respect the one that gave him life, that's raised him, taken care of him, put him, first and everything else, you think you're going to treat another woman right?
That's truth right there.
That ain't going to happen. And you know what? You are creating a detriment to society. And I'm going to tell you something, and this might hurt your feelings, but you're putting a guy out there that could potentially hurt another woman.
Yeah.
Because you're allowing him to mistreat you.
And I got another thing for those dudes living in the basement. Quit blaming everybody for your shit. Seriously. I can't get it. I can't make a job making enough money to live on my own. I can't do this. I can't do it. Go find your ass 3 jobs. I did it. Yeah. I worked 3 jobs.
Go get it, big boy.
That's
you want to talk shit? Go get it.
Quit blaming others for your problems. Get up, stand up, man up, and make it happen.
And know your place. You ain't the man of the house. You a boy living in your basement with a beard. That's all you are.
Yep.
And your mama's footing the bill. Your daddy's footing the bill. You ain't the man of the house.
Nope.
I don't give a shit how big you are, how tall you are, how strong you are, how hairy you are. If you ain't taking care of business, paying bills, managing the household, taking care of your mama, you are not the man in the house. You are just a big boy with a beard. That's all you are.
That's it. Mama tell you to take the trash out, get off your ass and take that trash out.
Well, if mama's going to tell you to take the trash out, take your ass out with it.
Yeah.
Don't bother coming back.
There you go.
Talk about being a man and your mama going to tell you to take out the trash.
Yeah, but she needs to respect me and show me honor.
Yeah.
She needs to respect the fact that I played Call of Duty till 2:00 in the morning and,
well, you said
and I'm too tired.
You said
a
key
mouthful
word
right there.
Honor. That's the other thing that's been lost. We need to honor the people that have come before us.
Yeah.
You men that are there, you should honor your mother. Honor your father. The people that have sacrificed so much for you, that have given up so much to give you the life that you have. And you can say, well, you don't know my dad. He's an asshole. Okay. My mom, she's a pain. Okay. I get it. But there's different ways to honor your parents. You want to honor your parents? Live an honorable life.
Yeah.
Treat people with respect. Go to work. Do a job. Be a good provider. Be a good husband. You know? Be a good daughter. Be a good wife. You know what I mean?
Be the man you wish they were.
Yeah, don't you use that as a catalyst to teach you what not to be. But don't lose the honor that they deserve. Your grandparents. Some of you young people right now, I know they're a pain in the ass. All they do is talk. They ask so many questions. Honor your grandparents. They're only going to be here for so long. Sometimes we forget all the sacrifices that they have made, all the times that they've shown up, all the times that they've shelled out money, the times that they've, sacrificed sleep and everything else and have provided you a safe place and shown you love and have taken the time to teach you and to mentor you and to love you. And then we think we get to a certain age, well, screw you, I don't need you anymore. You're a pain, get away from me.
They fought for your right to complain.
Yeah. Show them some honor.
I'm going to say something here, and it might really piss some people off, but I'm not going to say it because I don't know that I have the right to say it, and I would like to have a guest on to discuss this topic at some point in time. So I'm going to hold that. I really think that that could be a whole show in its own because I think it deserves a lot of time, what I was going to say, and I don't think we got enough time to say it.
Well, the other part too is, we talk about honor,
Honor's huge. Honor, that could be a whole nother show.
There's a whole bunch of people out there right now, and I'm just going to use just one group, and that's called our first responders. They deserve some honor and respect.
Oh, yeah.
You can sit there and find everything wrong with whatever group you want to. There's always a bad apple in every bunch.
Right.
But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Because when the shit hits the fan, you call the police.
Yeah.
When your house is on fire, you call the fire department.
Yeah.
When you're sick at home, you need help, you call the ambulance. You call 911. And you expect those people to show up. You expect them to do the very best their ability to do their job. And they damn well have earned your honor and your respect. And we live in a culture today where it's frowned upon to treat, I'm just going to one group, police officers. We think that it's okay to shit on the police.
Right.
These guys are out there making barely any money. They see the worst of the worst. They get total disrespect. And we expect them to go out there every day, never to have a bad day, to always do it right, to never make a mistake. And damn, if they do, we're going to make sure we can videotape and exploit them. And then we wonder why we're losing the police officers by the thousands.
Yeah.
Not the hundreds, people, by the thousands. They're trying, they can't even get people to go work in police departments anymore.
One of the things you can do if you have a situation where you're involved with the police, show them some honor, show them some respect, and watch how things go.
No kidding.
It'll go a whole lot different.
If you want to know what it's like for a police officer, just friggin' watch Cops.
Oh.
Take it a day and watch Cops and watch all the lying and manipulating and all the bullshit that goes with that job. And you tell me how you're going to feel at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're going to take everybody at their word, and this one's not going to do that, and that one's not going to do that. These people are trying to go home at night to see their families. They deserve honor and respect.
Oh, yeah.
And then, the other part, too, touching on it just briefly because I know that we're pushed up against the clock, but the men and women that have served our armed forces, that are overseas and abroad, here and abroad, I should say, the sacrifices that have been made, how dare you disrespect somebody in uniform that served this country?
Right.
I don't give a shit whether you agree with the decisions that the government's made to be in certain conflicts or whatever. That does not give you the right to disrespect and to poo-poo on people that have given up everything for your freedom.
Yep.
Honor. Respect. You can't have either one when you're suffering with self-entitlement. Selfishness, and just downright ignorance. We've got to quit telling these kids that they're at our level. We got to quit putting them up on a pedestal and throwing shit at them for mediocre performance. Because all they do is bite the hand that feeds them. And there's a bunch of you that are listening to this right now, and you know what I'm saying is true. Because you're sitting there and you're going, I don't know what to do with little Johnny. No matter what I do, it's never enough. I take him here, I take him there, I buy him this, I give him that. I try to love him, I try to do this and that, and he just yells at me and disrespects me and doesn't show me any honor. And it's because you've made him your friend. Because you've put him in a place where he's your equal. And he's a child. And you are raising a bad man. Same thing with the ladies. Spoiled little girls that they're self-entitled, that think that, you know, they're out there, and we live in a culture today, and you hear it all day long. They're entitled. They all think they're a 10. They all think that they deserve a man to take care of them, a man to wine and dine them and shower them with gifts and to pay for this and to pay for that. They want a traditional man, but they want to be a modern woman. What kind of bullshit are we putting out there? We are biting the hand that feeds us everywhere we turn. You know, back in the old days when you had a dog, what would you do if they bit you? You put them down. Why? Because you don't bite the hand that feeds you. I mean, we're not going to do that with people, obviously, but my point is that we're raising a generation of people that are like savage dogs. And no matter how much you feed them, whether it's steak, whether it's kibbles and bits, every time you go to stick the bowl in front of them, they're biting your hand. And we have a generation of young men out there that are so self-entitled, and these young ladies that are coming up that are so self-entitled that they're going to end up alone because nobody can stand being around any of them. We've got an epidemic in this country. We have more women today in their 30s raising children alone than ever in the history of our country and in our culture. And it's because of self-entitlement. We have it on both ends of the spectrum. We've got the issues at home with the boys being nurtured and babied and, you know, pampered and all this other shit. And then we got the girls over here that think that, you know, that are being taught to be more masculine than the boys. And it's just, these kids are so confused. And then we wonder why they act and do the things that they do. We have a job to do. It's our job. It's our responsibility to set this thing back on the right course, to grab a hold of the wheel and quit making excuses and pointing fingers. So what I would encourage you to do is if you're doing all the things we're talking about tonight on this podcast, stop. You can't change the past, but you sure in hell can affect the future. And if you do that, my friends, well, hell, that's where the rubber meets the road.